Hey students, this week you guys have your Chapter 2 project due. So this one can be a little confusing, just reading through that first part. There's a whole data gathering step. And so I wanted to just walk through it with you guys just so you guys can see an example, and hopefully it'll make more sense as you start the process. So if we pull up this Chapter 2 test, or Chapter 2 project, let's talk about what's going on here. So where this relates to Chapter 2 is, bottom line is we're going to be optimizing our revenue. But I wanted you guys to be able to come up with a demand equation instead of just me giving you one. And so that's what all the Part A is you surveying people for a specific product and being able to come up with a demand equation. So pick a product. And this is up to you, whatever you're interested in or whatever. Just for the sake of this example, I'm going to pick Dum Dums, a Dum Dum sucker. Okay. And then when I go to actually survey people, you are going to need to showcase your product so that the people you're surveying can get a good idea of what this product is. So for me, of course, it's easy enough for me to just carry around a Dum Dum sucker when I'm asking people about it. But once you have your product, then you're going to pick potential prices. And I want these prices to be realistic. So don't, $0 is not a realistic price because then you're not actually selling it. I'm not going to pick anything bigger than $5. Heck, anything bigger than $1 is really just not realistic for selling a sucker. So my potential prices is I'm going to do 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, and I'm just going to go by 10 cents each time. So 10 cents all the way up to 80 cents. And so the idea here is now I'm going to go ask a potential consumer, quote unquote. This can be friends, family, classmates, just whoever you want, as long as it's not yourself. Don't ask yourself because that could bias the results. So ask 10 different people at what price they would still be willing to pay for your product. Now notice how this is a different question than asking them, hey, what price should I sell this at? Of course, if they're a consumer, they're going to pick the lowest price. So it's all about what they would be willing to pay. If it makes more sense, you can do this. You can do this each price at a time and just ask them, would you be willing to buy the sucker for 10 cents? Okay, would you be willing to buy the sucker for 20 cents? And for each of these that they say yes to, you'll just check. So let's say I'm asking one of my friends, would you be willing to buy the sucker for 10 cents? He says yes, check. Okay, would you be willing to buy it for 20 cents? Sure, yeah, check. Would you be willing to buy this for 30 cents? You'll keep doing this until they reach a point where they say, no, I'm not willing to buy a Dum Dum sucker for 60 cents. I'm not spending 60 cents on a sucker. And then, of course, from there on out, they're not going to be willing to spend 70 cents or 80 cents. And so I can kind of stop there for that consumer. Well, you'll do this 10 different times for 10 different people. And your table will end up looking something like this. So what you'll do when you're done is you'll total up the amount of check marks in each of these different rows. So for 10 cents, everyone was willing to buy a Dum Dum sucker, so my total is 10. All 10 consumers said that they would buy a sucker for 10 cents. Same thing with 20 cents, so my total is 10. For 30 cents, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 consumers said they would buy it for 30 cents. For 40 cents, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For 50 cents, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 60 cents, 1, 2, 3. For 70 cents, only one person said they would buy it for 70 cents, and 0 people said they would buy it for 80 cents. Okay, so now once you have those totals, those are going to be your coordinate points that you plot on your graphing calculator. If you want to walk through of how to do that on Desmos, that's what this link is. This link will give you a walkthrough of how to actually find a regression line for your demand equation. And your data points relate to this total. So how your data points work is your X value is the price and the Y value is the total. So for my problem, this is going to be one of my data points. You've got price as your X value and your total as your Y value, your corresponding total, right? So that's this and this. So if I kept going, my next coordinate point would be 20 for my price, or 20 cents for my price and 10 for my total. My next coordinate point would be 30 cents for my price and 8 for my total, because once again, the corresponding total for 30 cents was 8. And so on and so forth. So how many coordinate points should you have? You should have 8 coordinate points, because you have 8 different potential prices. Once you have those coordinate points, you'll stick them onto Desmos and graph your, and then use this walkthrough to create a linear regression line for you. And that linear regression line becomes your function. Okay. Now with these 2 questions right here, before you move on to part B, with these 2 questions, what does your slope represent? What does your y-intercept represent? This isn't me asking what is slope or what is the y-intercept. What I want to know is how does it relate to your product? What does the slope mean in terms of your product, in terms of this demand equation? What does the y-intercept represent in terms of your product, in terms of money and demand and that kind of thing? Okay, so in context, what does it mean in the context of your product and consumers and all that kind of stuff? Price, that kind of thing. And then part B, hopefully part B is pretty straightforward once you actually have your demand equation. Okay. Just as a reminder, if you're working with just a basic product, how do you calculate revenue? Revenue is just price times quantity. Okay, so that'll help you out with 1 and 2. Okay, best of luck on this project. And this is open notes, open resources. So if this still didn't make sense, then please reach out, send me an email or something so that I can help you make sense of what I'm asking on this project, and you can get a good grade on it. So have a great day, and we'll see you next week.